Welcome to Special Olympics Chicago. I am your host, Jessica France, and it is my honor to welcome Justice Ann M. Burke to our show. Justice Burke, on behalf of myself and all of our Special Olympics Chicago athletes, thank you for working so hard to start a program that has served thousands of people with disabilities during the last 50 years.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm thrilled to be here, not only on behalf of all the volunteers and parents and people who have helped Special Olympics for the last 50 years,
Wow.
but because of you and the Special Olympians.
Yeah. Your vision has established Special Olympic athletes to compete in sports around the world, develop the confidence to work in jobs in their communities and beyond, give families a chance to see them prosper, and make friends for life in a culture that honors their achievements. So, Justice Burke, when you organized the first International Games in Chicago in 1968, what was your vision for the program?
Well, Jessica, really in 1967 and 1966 and 1965, I was a physical education teacher for the Chicago Park District at West Pullman Park, teaching individuals with learning disabilities. And it was then that I decided to start teaching skills in track and field and volleyball and basketball and swimming, tap dancing and baton twirling to my students because that's what everybody else learned. So by time 68 came along, the president of the Park District wanted to expand the program, and he asked me, what do you think we should do to encourage more people to come to the parks in Chicago? And I said, well, have a citywide track meet, doing exactly what my students were doing at camp in the summertime and during the year in the regular park program, special recreation program. And he said, great, sounds like a plan. So I wrote a letter to Mrs. Shriver with the help of Dr. Freeberg, William Freeberg from Southern Illinois University, and asked for some money to do this event in Soldier Field. She really liked the idea, and she gave us $25,000, and she helped bring people from 26 states in Canada to the first games. Wow. Then they decided to have international and national Special Olympics. So that's how it's grown to 170 countries.
Wow. Well, let's see. Please tell us about the first games. We know they took place at Soldier Field. How was that organized?
Well, of course, the first games in Soldier Field was really to highlight and show what abilities people with disabilities had. So they had learned a lot of skills. So we had a lot of events going on. We had a 50-yard dash, free throw, other kinds of track and field events, and swimming. Would you believe that? Hockey and swimming in Soldier Field. They put in a portable swimming pool.
That's cool.
It was cool. There's some pictures of that. And underneath the stands, we had a Teflon ice skating rink. We had trampolines going. So all the kinds of activities that everybody does, the Special Olympics participated in. But the one thing at Soldier Field then was it was 90 degrees. It was pretty hot. But we had a ball. So it was a wonderful day and a lot of achievement. People worked very hard learning their skills, and they highlighted it to the degree that now that's what people do all around the world.
Wow, that is a difference. Mm-hmm. Things you can do it, not just football games.
Right, so not just football.
Where did the athletes who participated come from?
Well, because of Eunice Kennedy Shriver and the Kennedy Foundation, they were able to reach out to many other states, exactly 26 of them, and Stan Mikita from the Blackhawks here in Chicago challenged George Armstrong of the Canadian Maple Leafs to come on down to Chicago and have a floor hockey competition in Soldier Field. So Canada was involved as well.
Wow. Oh, let's see. I know it takes a lot of volunteers to host an event. Who were the first volunteers?
Well, the first volunteers, first let me just tell you, there was no other programs for people with disabilities. There was no education programs in the schools. So we were able to get volunteers through parents of the athletes, from organizations like Kiwanis, Alhambra, the Knights of Columbus, all kinds of organizations. And
because I know ComEd helps.
ComEd, all those people, they volunteer now. So it's something that it's a kind of a contagious affection. People want to help society and contribute. And we try to give everybody a job in Special Olympics today. But it wasn't that easy to get a lot of people behind us in 1968. They were a little skeptical about having people with disabilities in the public. Isn't that a shame?
Yeah, it is.
But not today. It's just the opposite. That's because Special Olympics has changed the world.
Wow. We all love the dances that are part of our events. Was there a first dance?
There was a first dance, but it was part of the dinner at the Conrad Hilton Hotel. There was dancing for the all the athletes and the families that came, and the volunteers and the teachers. But then, since then, of course, dancing became a part of the whole program. I did teach dancing, tap dancing, to my students back then. I still think some of the teachers still teach dancing. I hope so.
When the games were over and you had a chance to think about what you accomplished, what were your thoughts?
Well, my first thought was, I'm glad it's over with.
That's a good answer.
Well, because it's hard to put an event together. You know how it is working here. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of people, and a lot of people helping each other. And putting on an event that's actually a national event, international event, it takes a lot of coordination and a lot of people to help. So it was pretty tiring, but it was so successful. Everybody was so happy. I was just thrilled at that time that we were going to continue the games every year after that in Chicago, and that's what we've done for the last 49 years.
Wow. Did you know when you finished the first games that you wanted this to be an annual event?
Of course. We knew it. Once we saw the success and the happy faces, everybody knew that this had to continue. And as a result, the members of the park board and the vice president, Dan Shannon, had a lot of his friends businessmen help pay for the games. They organized a charitable organization called Special Children's Charities, and as a result, that organization has paid for and fundraised to make sure Chicago has Special Olympics happening every year since the first games.
Wow. So looking back on 50 years, thinking about the athletes, the families, the volunteers, and others who are part of every event, did you even imagine the number of lives this moment would affect?
I absolutely have no ability to, even today, to determine how many lives it has touched. I can imagine that it's millions and millions and millions. And
Still is.
I'm sure it is. And to the families and to the as well as not only the Special Olympians, but to the volunteers and the peoples and communities all over the world, have a new appreciation and respect for the athletes and their families. And I think that members of the Special Olympics around the world are truly contributing members of their community and will continue to be so, where they were shut out many years ago, but no longer.
Well, I had watched the ESPY Awards the other night, and even I realized that even Michelle Obama is a big
endorser.
An endorser as
Yes,
well.
she is. We're going to try to get her to come to Chicago next year. We hope so.
That would be fun. Now that, well, she's no longer the first lady.
Mm-hmm. But she's our first lady.
Of course. Thinking about Special Olympics, what would you say has been your greatest influence over the years?
Oh, I can't even begin to measure that.
Okay.
But I know that it's not just about me and my influence, but it's the influence of the students and the athletes who've really changed the world. I just help teach the skills, but you have influenced the world. Look at you. You're an interviewer on a TV show. Did you ever think that you'd be sitting here today?
No, usually when I started coming for CANTV, I was like, oh, this is a new thing. I'll try it out, see if I like it. Well, then once I started doing interviews, I was like, oh, this is not a bad thing after all. I'm good at public speaking. I'm good with all the guests that come. They're comfortable with having me interview. I haven't heard any complaints, so why not?
And those doors have been open to you and your Special Olympian colleagues for the last 49 years because of Special Olympics. Congratulations.
Thank you. What is your wish for the future of Special Olympic athletes in Chicago and around the world?
I think my biggest wish now is for them to enjoy their lives, for their families to feel secure, that they are individuals who are contributing members of society. And a real goal I have is that we as a community would start to raise money through Special Olympics for long-term residential care for our athletes.
Can you tell me basically about how the polar plunge happens?
Oh, I wonder why you're asking this. I think it's because you just agreed to jump in the lake next March.
Well, after all, you agreed to interview me, so I figured I thought our viewers will want to know
right.
how the whole thing of polar plunge started.
The polar plunge is one of the most fun events of the year for Special Children's Charities. It's the largest fundraising arm of Special Children's Charities, but it's really fun. We get volunteers and people to jump in the lake for raising money for Special Olympics to make sure that we can continue to have our program. But it's really a fun day. I mean, people wear costumes, they wear uniforms, and they jump in the freezing cold weather and the freezing cold lake, and they're shocked, of course, but most of them will say they'll do it again. It's just getting that first step in to say, I'll do it. And you've done that. So you've agreed. And so we'll see you there in March.
Of course.
Okay.
And as a cheering section.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Justice Burke, for talking with us today and being for us since 1968.
Well, thank you for having me, Jessica. Appreciate it. Anytime.
Anytime, Your Honor.
I'll see you at the polar plunge.
Yeah.
If not before.
If not before.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. So our next guest is Julia Jameson from Special Children's Charities. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Julia, please tell our audience a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Julia from Chicago, when we met specifically. I have 3 younger brothers. Went to Loyola Academy, went to University of Illinois for college, and then came to Special Olympics Chicago Special Children's Charities right after that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I hear it's quite a good school, too.
It is. It's a school in the middle of cornfields, but it's a good one. Yeah.
I've been to Illinois State a lot of times to compete. So,
yeah, that's an awesome place, too. That's one of my favorite places to go to.
Illinois is good, too.
Yeah.
How did you get started with Special Olympics and the Special Children's Charities?
I got started with Special Children's Charities through Skinny Sheehan. I met him, or my mom met him randomly and got me connected to the program. But I played played tennis in college, and then in college we did a lot of nonprofit work, you could say, and I really enjoyed myself and wanted to stay involved in that. And so I'm glad that my mom met Skinny randomly one day, or else I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, he'll be a fun one to interview.
Oh yeah, have you interviewed him before?
Not yet.
He's a little crazy, isn't
Yeah,
he?
I just started giving interviews in October.
Exciting.
So, yeah, so I still got a long way to go in interviews.
You're doing very well.
Oh, thank you. What is your favorite Special Olympic sport?
My favorite sport is tennis. Since I played tennis in college, I've played my whole life. Do you like tennis?
Tennis is good, and they just made it a Special Olympic sport.
Yeah, they did.
They sure
did. We
did.
just had the tennis competition last week.
Ah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
As they say, I heard that through the grapevine. Do you like to participate in any sports besides tennis?
I like to run. I ran a half marathon once, but I'm too afraid to run a marathon. I do like to play basketball. I'm trying to learn golf. I'm not good at all, but what's your favorite sport?
Well, for competing, I do track and field and basketball.
Awesome.
Yeah. We went downstate a couple months back, so
that's so exciting.
Seconds, so
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. My defense is still a little off, but
I'm sure it's
got years of practice.
Yeah. Do you like running long distance or sprints?
Usually I do sprints.
Yeah.
I do the 100-meter run.
I'm not a fan of long distance, so I'm with you.
And a couple weeks ago, they did a rowing competition using the rowing machines. So,
oh, wow, that's awesome. Did you do that?
Yep, we had to make sure that in order to complete it all, we had to make sure that we did 42,427 kilometers.
Oh,
geez. Which is 26.2 miles. So, yeah, it was quite well.
I don't think I've ever used a rowing machine, but that sounds very hard.
It's a good workout.
Yeah.
Who knew they had it for Special Olympics?
I know. I didn't know that at all. I'm glad you told me.
Yeah. Okay, so Special Olympics just celebrated its 49th birthday. Do you think that is exciting?
So exciting. One of the things that I didn't know when I started working for Special Olympics is that it began here in Chicago.
1968.
1968.
As of yesterday.
Exactly, yeah. I think it is so exciting, and everyone in Chicago is so proud of the fact that it started in Chicago, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this exciting celebration happening next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
When you are talking to people about supporting our Special Olympics program, what do you like to say to them?
I think the best thing to say to someone, I encourage everyone to come to our sporting competitions. I think that's the best way for people to see what Special Olympics is all about. That's how I fell in love just coming to the sporting competitions. My first competition I ever went to is bocce. Do you play bocce?
No, but I've been wanting to, though.
Yeah, I've never played, but it looks kind of hard, and I had such a blast. There were so many people out there and so many friendly faces, and that just going to that competition made me want to go to every single other competition.
Yeah, a lot of my friends do the motorized one for the wheelchairs. Yeah, they do. Yeah, and they seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back this year.
Okay.
To watch. It's one of my favorite competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Julia, for talking with us today.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me.
And thank you to all for watching our show. Stay tuned for the Sports Report by William Tang. I am Jessica France. See you next time.
Hello, my name is William Tang. Welcome to the Special Olympics Chicago CANTV Sports segment. If you recall, July was, like most months, a very busy time for our Special Olympics athletes. Our tennis and golf competition took place in record heat, but that didn't stop our athletes from giving their all. Fortunately for our tennis player, the competition took place at Reese Park, indoors on air-conditioned courts. Nice. Our golf competition took place along the beautiful shores of Lake Michigan at the South Shore Cultural Center. Golf skills competition took place at the beautiful Marquette Park Golf Instructional Center. It is a great place for anyone to go and work on their skill. August is the month that has no Special Olympics competition scheduled. Of course, that doesn't mean we are sitting around eating chips. August is the month for planning and relaxation because we know there are competition galore for the rest of the year. Let the celebration begin. In just 11 short months, Special Olympics will be 50 years old. Think of thousands of athletes who have been part of this great movement over the years. Amazing. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at www.sochicago.org. See you next time. This is William Tang. See you next time.